Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Yesterday, June 25th, 2016, I saw this news headline on the screen. Jim Irsay, Indianapolis Colts owner, buys Prince's Yellow Cloud guitar for $137,500 at auction in Beverly Hills. If you missed my work earlier this year, after the death of Vanity, who died just before the 58th Grammys, I predicted that we would likely be reading about the death of Prince soon. The day Prince died, I put out a video showing how the date he died on had a major connection to the upcoming Super Bowl and a parallel to the Indianapolis Colts. You can go back and watch these videos. I'm going to revisit here what I talked about then. In that same video that I made the day Prince died, I talked about how his death was also connected to the upcoming NBA Finals. Remember, Game 1 of the NBA Finals, that same day the cause of death was announced for Prince. I've done a lot of work on this. As the facts roll out, my theory, my presentation, it becomes more and more clear. So in case you missed those videos, let me get to what I was telling you in February after the death of Vanity and in April after the death of Prince. This story came out yesterday, June 25th, 2016. A date was 67 numerology. That was the year of the first Super Bowl. Yesterday was also a date with 47 numerology as well. The first Super Bowl was in the 47th season of the NFL. So these numbers in yesterday's date very much connecting to the first Super Bowl, played between the Packers and Chiefs. If you haven't seen my video on Monday Night Football, Packers and Chiefs last season and what a tribute that was to the first Super Bowl, go back and check it out. Also, when Vanity died, I talked specifically about the significance of number 67 coded into her life, coded into Prince's life, and part of the reason Prince better watch out. Lo and behold, Prince would die in a span of 67 days from the death of Vanity. Vanity died February 15th. Prince died April 21st. 67 days. 67, a number connected to blood sacrifice. Right now in the news is the death of Zachary Simmons, the cousin of the number 1 pick to the NBA draft. He died on June 25th, early in the morning. Date was 67 numerology. The name Zachary Simmons in Gematria sums to 67. Just put out a video on that. Whole lot more information. So, where's the connection to the Colts? Let's get to it. The day Prince died was a date with numerology of 41. And Prince had performed in one Super Bowl in his life. He performed in Super Bowl 41 where the Colts defeated the Chicago Bears. Look at the name of the owner of the Colts, Jim Irsay. In Gematria, that sums to 41. Prince dead on the date with 41 numerology. I've also put out a warning for Apollonia, who was in the Purple Rain film. Apollonia has all these synchronicities with Prince and Vanity. I'm worried that we're going to read about her death not too far off. So, Jim Irsay, the 41 connection, Prince dead on a date with 41 numerology, performed in Super Bowl 41. With regards to Prince dying at age 57, that is a number directly connected to sports championships. Check this out. When you write out 57, it sums to 131. When you write out championship, it sums to 131. When you write out Super Bowl, it sums to 131. World Series also has Gematria 57. Sports championships and killing by the numbers is something that is always going on. After the World Series, I pointed out the death of Dave Henderson at age 57, 57 days after the World Series concluded. The name Henderson in Gematria equals 57. Killing by these numbers, commonplace sadly in this world. Vanity died at age 57, Prince died at age 57, Apollonia will be turning 57 later this year and has a lot of 41 connections as well. You know, perhaps when the Colts are in the Super Bowl, which I expect to happen, perhaps then we'll read about the death of Apollonia. That would make a lot of sense too based on the way these people operate. So I want to point out the death of Vanity in regards to Super Bowl 41 and regards to the Super Bowl that just passed. Vanity died on the 46th day of the year, February 15th, just before the 58th Grammys. Super Bowl 41, the Colts defeated Chicago. Chicago has gematria 46. Vanity has gematria 46. Sacrifice has gematria 46. This year was the 50th Super Bowl, but the 46th Super Bowl of the modern era. The stadium where the game was played had gematria 46, things I covered in the time of the Super Bowl. The head coach of the Carolina Panthers, Ron Rivera, he was in the Super Bowl with the Bears in the 1985 season. They won that Super Bowl playing for Chicago by a score of 46-10. They won with 46 points for Chicago with the revolutionary 4-6 defense. And you know, before this last NFL season, the season that already played, they had the NFL draft in Chicago for the first time since '64. Chicago 46 Super Bowl of modern era. All these parallels between Chicago and the Super Bowl. Before the game happened, I was showing the parallels between the '85 Bears and what was being coded in the Super Bowl. I said the Broncos would win. I said Von Miller would be the MVP. There would be a Black Panthers tribute. Called it all months before it even happened. When the president congratulated the Broncos, what did he say? The first words out of his mouth were, "You guys remind me of the '85 Bears." Remember, National Football League equals 85. The National Football League began in Chicago. So that's why all of this would come back to Chicago. The gang operates out of Chicago. They code all their numbers, all their tributes of significance into their wrongdoing. So Vanity to Prince, and very possibly in the near future, Apollonia as well. If you haven't seen my video on the death of Prince B from PM Dawn, he died 57 days after Prince died at age 57. He died at age 46. Prince B. This year's past Super Bowl, Super Bowl 50 in Levi's Stadium. Levi's Stadium equals 46. It was on February 7th, the 38th day of the year. The Carolina Panthers lost again. They'd also lost in Super Bowl 38. But check out all the 38 in Prince's death. Death equals 38. Prince equals 38. He died in Chanhassen, Minnesota. 38-38. It was Colorado, the 38th state, that won the Super Bowl. And it was October, out of Los Angeles, a news story about a dead body on Colorado Street in Los Angeles, which led me to predict that the Broncos would win the Super Bowl, all that was coded into that story. You know, Colorado wins the Super Bowl on the 38th day of the year, and there's been a ton of death attached to it. So notice up here, it says that Jim Irsay, the owner of the Colts, played 137,000. 137 is the 33rd prime number, 33 a number of sacrifice. Where Prince died, Paisley Park. Paisley has that gematria of 33. The word price equals 33. The price was 137,000. All of this is coded riddles. 33, a huge number in the world of sports because the Freemasons run the show who obsess on this number. But here's what else I pointed out about Prince's death. He died on April 21st, which is typically the 111th day of the year. The NBA Finals equals 111. This year, because it was a leap year, it was the 112th day of the year. This year, the World Series will be the 112th World Series. Houston equals 112. I predicted in spring training that the World Series would be Cubs in Houston, with the Cubs winning. Last year in spring training, I predicted it'd be the New York Mets. I didn't know the American League team. The Mets did make it. How did I know that? New York equals 111. Nothing lined up for the Yankees, a lot lined up for the Mets. I said, watch, Mets in the World Series. I documented it all season. So anyway, with regards to him dying on the 112th day of the year, check this out. You know, these Super Bowl connections. There's a team that has some major 112 connections, and it's the Colts, who Jim Irsay is the owner of, who just bought this guitar that Prince owned. Houston in gematria equals 112. Prince dead on the 112th day of the year. The Super Bowl will be hosted in Houston. Houston in the division with the Colts. Houston is also the city where Andrew Luck grew up and played his high school football. Andrew Luck in gematria equals 112. So does horseshoe, what's on the side of the Colts helmet. They have a horseshoe on the side. All these 112 connections, the Super Bowl will be in Houston, Andrew Luck's hometown. It's going to be Super Bowl 51. Houston Texans, the football team that plays there, equals 51. Last year, San Francisco hosted Super Bowl 50. San Francisco equals 50. It will also be the 47th Super Bowl of the modern era. Luck equals 47. Oliver Luck is the father of Andrew Luck. He played for the Houston Oilers, the team that became the Tennessee Titans. Oliver Luck, 47. Luck, 47. 47th Super Bowl of the modern era in Houston. Remember in Super Bowl 47, that was between the Baltimore Ravens and the 49ers. It had the 33-minute blackout in the second half. Baltimore, the original home of the Colts. 47th Super Bowl, 47th Super Bowl of modern era. I expect the Colts to be in this one. Classic football team. The date of this news story is also the anniversary date of Purple Rain. Purple Rain came out June 25th, 1984. This story comes out on June 25th, the sale of Prince's guitar. And from the date he died, April 21st, until June 25th, the date of this story, the anniversary date of Purple Rain, 65 days. Why is that symbolic? Because Prince, in simple English gematria, sums to 65. He died on the Queen's birthday. The Queen turned 90. Prince was 57, a difference of 33 years. Again, $137,000 selling price, $137 the 33rd prime. With regards to Prince being connected to the NBA Finals, LeBron James, known as King James, won on the real King James birthday. The son of King James was King Charles I, who the Cavaliers were named after. The Cavaliers in history are attached to King Charles I. When the Queen dies, Charles will become the king. And this is what all the symbolism is about. Prince being sacrificed on the Queen's birthday to foreshadow King Charles to come. Last year, the Royals won the World Series while Charles was 66 years old. Charles equals 66, King equals 66, Royals, World Series with the S exception, 66. This is what's going on in the world. I just did a video on how the NBA Finals was connected to Brexit, the United Kingdom, England, Great Britain. All of this stuff is synced up, planned out. Remember, they lit up Niagara Falls purple the day Prince died, the day the Queen turned 90. Vanity is from Niagara Falls. The ex-girlfriend of Prince connected to his death. Her death led to me predicting that Prince might die soon. The guitar that was sold, the Yellow Cloud, has gematria of 147, just like Master Builder. Very special number to the game, you know. This is a symbolism of something that you expand on. You know, this detail in the story is a clue for greater things to come. And as what I can see right now is the Colts in the Super Bowl. And for who the Colts will play, I'll tell you what. I don't normally bet on sports. I'm not into gambling. But I did go down to Vegas in March, and I bet on the Super Bowl. I bet that it will be a repeat of the 1958 championship, considered the greatest game that ever played. Remember, Vanity died before the 58th Grammys. 1958 was 58 years ago. That Super Bowl was between the Colts and the Giants. Last year, Frank Gifford died by the numbers. There's been more deaths related to the Giants that I've covered since. All of them seem to point to the upcoming Super Bowl. And what I see for the playoffs in the NFL, I see the NFC Championship being the Minnesota Vikings, where Prince died, and the New York Giants. I see the Giants advancing over the Vikings as they did in history. I could have that backwards. It could be the Vikings' year. They went out in a scripted playoff loss to the Seahawks last year. They're owed something. But I do think the Giants will defeat the Vikings, and I think in the AFC, the Colts will defeat the Patriots in a rematch of Deflategate. I think it's all scripted, it's all written, it's all planned out, and all these stories along the way, these ritual sacrifices, these sales of guitars, and more to come, will all clue us into this. You know, done a number of videos on this. Death of Gary Jeter, the New York Giant, earlier this year. Death of the longtime trainer of the team. I predicted that Eli Apple would be drafted by the Giants. I said that would be a sign of the Super Bowl to come. This is the way the world operates. I'm sad to say it. The gang that controls the media, controls sports, controls governments, controls the stranglehold on the things that bring the information to our lives. And with all that information they give us, they're cluing us in to what they're doing. All right, Truth Seeker, until next time.